Hello, and welcome to the Money Marketing Podcast. I'm Kimberly Dondo, Digital Content Manager. And in this week's Weekend Essay Podcast, we have news editor Michael Klimes asking, is access to information always good for advice? Take it away, Mike.
The great hope in the early days of the internet was it would make government, corporations and markets ever more transparent. No one would be able to hide their dirty laundry anymore, as it would be out in public. There is also a belief that if voters, consumers and citizens are given the right information, then they will make better decisions. A word I have frequently come across over the years as a financial journalist is empowerment and engagement through better information. Those two words have a habit of being ever present in consultations from the Financial Conduct Authority and the pensions regulator. There has also been discussion over the past 2 years about the democratization of finance through technology. Many cheered the retail investors who took on hedge funds through the acquisition of GameStop shares. In my early student days, I would have been fervently on the side of transparency and getting as much information out into the public domain as possible. Surely, the more information, the better. Now I'm a little older, I think the view from my student days was a little simplistic and even naive. 3 immediate questions present themselves, which undercut my early student views. Do you really need and want to know everything that goes on? Can too much information be confusing and cloud judgment? Does having the right information always lead to sound decisions? Take the first question. There is a saying, what you do not know cannot hurt you. And I feel there are some situations where this is true. There are cases where a disaster has been averted by a whisker through luck or timely intervention. An example might be the security services thwart a terrorist plot to detonate a nuclear device in the heart of Westminster. On balance, would public anxiety increase, decrease, or stay the same if they knew all the intimate details about the attempt? The answer surely is they would feel a significant uptick in anxiety. Other adverse consequences could be an increase in paranoia of fellow citizens and erosion of social cohesion. Now on to the second question about the quantity of information. We are exposed to more information than ever before, but at what cost? Social media is especially pernicious here, as every person is now a tourist in another person's life. We see the curated tapestry of what they eat, drink and wear. This can encourage confusion among those watching and inspire anxiety about the lives they lead. From a financial perspective, too much information can bamboozle investors and make them question the information presented in documents. Pension packs are particularly difficult to understand, long-winded and tedious. By contrast, advertising and poetry are both arts that master the delivery of key information in an emotionally compact way. The third problem of giving the right information is relevant for advisors who have done defined benefit transfers. They have come across the insistent client who refuses to do what they recommend and carries on regardless. No amount of right information will sway an insistent client's mind. I bring up these information problems because it has been prompted by a piece I wrote about advisors who raised concerns about increased client logins to check portfolios. There has definitely been a marked increase of clients who log into portals to check their investments. Figures from back office provider True Potential show how much logins have jumped in frequency. There has been a 342% increase in logins since the beginning of the pandemic in sustained tranches. Logins have risen among advised clients by 27% over the past 6 months, by 41% over the past 12 months, and by 129% over the past 18 months. True Potential said it has also seen growth in how much was invested per client on average, from £2,089 in December 2019 to £4,360 in March 2022. This means £2,271 more is invested per client on average since COVID-19 hit the advice sector. According to True Potential, 40% of its clients are female and 60% are male, with the largest 3 age cohorts being 51 to 55, 56 to 60, and 61 to 65. It was not able to give a breakdown of client login increases or decreases by age or gender for the above periods. Advisors I have spoken to point out this presents a challenge for them, as the last couple of years have seen client portfolios hit by a pandemic and war. Here, transparency and technology are a double-edged sword. Might they even be an obstacle to good financial advice? Plutus Wealth Management Chartered Financial Planner Ruben Sangmuganathanan said, "We are reaching peak saturation with internet usage in the Western world. What that means is we are getting more communication with clients. In the past, they did not have real access to accounts, so they are checking more now compared to previous market crashes. So we have had much more client contact." Anecdotally, Sangmuganathanan reported that among some of his clients, the average frequency of logins had risen from once every 6 months to once every day. He added, "People are bad at comprehending percentages of big numbers, and they are twice as affected by the loss of money than by gaining money. There is a risk clients will become more risk averse because they see accounts every day and cannot tolerate the short-term fluctuations. The login issue could exacerbate the short-termism and need clients to take lower risk, and that is an issue for asset managers and advisors." In the past 6 months, there has been a market downturn of 10% across the average portfolio of the average client and investors. One of the insights from behavioral economics is we feel more from an investment loss than a gain. This is something advisors need to keep in mind when dealing with sensitive information in client meetings.
Thanks, Mike, for another interesting Weekend Essay podcast. We do hope that you enjoyed it. Please do keep up to date with all our new releases via Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts from. You can also keep up to date with all our new content published on the Money Marketing website, as well as our Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next time.